he there?" The small voice sounded hopeful. "No, baby, we talked about this." Reese tried to sound patient. "I'm sure Ben's at home." "Didn't you call him?" Angel looked uncertain. She needed a kind of reassurance that Reese couldn't offer. "His cell phone's not working. I'll call him tomorrow, okay?" She wondered how much of her plan she could still salvage. Maybe enough to give the two of them a shot at an honest-to-God normal life. At the very least, it would leave Angel with that option. That was the important part. If things got worse, she didn't want to bring Angel down with her. She hoped it wouldn't come to this, crawling back to Benjamin for help. But after what they'd just run away from in Boone, she had no choice. "Can't you call him now?" Angel stared through the chain metal gate, eyes large, mouth set with a slight tremble. "Come here, sweetie. It'll be okay." Angel came closer, leaned in against her again. Reese knelt down and held her daughter, felt the slightness of her frame. She was strong and healthy, but sometimes seemed so fragile. "The water looks dark," Angel said. "Are you sure you won't get hurt?" "I'll be fine." Reese bent to kiss the girl's head, felt earrings dangle lightly against her cheek. "I'm going to be around the gate and on the dock over there before you blink twice. Then we'll have a place to stay for the night. Okay?" "Okay." Angel still seemed to lack confidence in the plan. Reese stood up, took a deep breath. She wished she had time for a cigarette. Angel made the signal. A balled fist tapped onto a flat palm. The girl had made it up for luck, and Reese knew that the superstition gave her daughter boldness in their adventures. Reese returned the gesture, then turned and walked down the length of the shoreline until she reached the edge of the gate. A dinghy sat beached on the mudbank, and she had the notion of taking it to the dock, letting Angel inside the door as planned, and then returning the boat to the bank. But that would take too long, make her far too visible to the security station. Instead, she stepped from the brittle grass into the soft tidal mud. She kept on her flip-flops to keep from cutting her feet. Shells, some still housing living creatures no doubt, crunched under her weight. She felt bad crushing them, but let go of the thought and moved deeper into the water, hoping to avoid anything that might want to sting or bite. As the surface came waist-deep, her clothes slowed her progress. A skirt had been a bad choice for this operation. Shorts would have made more sense. But then again, she hadn't had much time to prepare. Her clustered bangle bracelets had a tinny sound. They unnerved her, and she put her arm in the water to silence them. She moved carefully to keep from making noise, splashing. She reached up to brush a hair from the corner of her mouth and tasted the moist brine of the inlet on her fingers. The salty glaze settled against the skin of her arms. "This feels good," she mumbled aloud to no one. She hadn't swam in salt water in so long. The feel of it evoked memories of childhood, of hot summers, memories of Benjamin, some of them very good. But she hadn't regretted her decision to leave. Not then. They'd had good years, she and Angel, but now it was time to make a change. Angel stood quiet, motionless at the gate, an outline of a girl. Reese pulled herself up. Drenched, she landed sitting on the dock, then waved at Angel, put a finger to her lips for Angel to stay silent. Even though her daughter was only a shadow, backlit by the marina lights, she saw the child wave back. Reese could imagine Angel smiling, relieved that her mother had kept her word after all. Just as she'd promised, she'd made it safely to the other side. Chapter 2. Gina. Benjamin came up behind me, slid his arms around my waist. Heat from the late sun warmed the skin under my sweatshirt, rejected the chill of October. We stood in the open air. Around us, pumpkins of all sizes pebbled the field with orange, with bins of butternut squash and sweet potatoes off to the side. The farmer who owned the land presided over his yield. He was large and, it seemed to me, bored with produce. People wandered, trying to choose, and he watched, sitting on a stool beside a table that held nothing.